So, time for a build video then. Going to kick off, it's been a while when we've done one of these as well. Thought, hey, we're on a roll today, we've managed to get a few vids out there, let's get a build video going too. So this is the factory set from Sarissa Precision. This was got with a view to the fact that we felt we could use it with bolt action, or we could use it with the likes of the Judge Dredd miniatures game, or the Strontium Dog game, something like that there if we wanted. It's a nice little set because it's actually a number of small bits that you can kind of bring together or use separately, whatever way you want. And we figured that would fit in well. We've got a few other pieces that are from the similar sort of range. So again, that builds up to being able to populate a small board like the Judge Dredd's only a 3v3 playing area. So it builds up to being able to populate a small board with a lot of terrain that kind of nicely fits together as well. So we'll crack this open. We'll do this video in sort of two parts. This first part is essentially an unboxing. We're just going to open it up here, show you the kit and sort of what the frames and whatnot are like, what you can sort of expect to let yourself in for. And after that, I'll vanish off the screen. We will find some of the least annoying music that we can throw into the background as possible, and the video will just proceed to be a build vid. I'll maybe jump in again at the end, I maybe won't. We'll just see what way we go. So that's obviously the diagram that shows you the concept of the finished kit. And then, as we said, it's a number of smaller elements. So in terms of value for money, this one is essentially giving you 3 buildings. Okay, so we have the factory office warehouse I02. Okay, we've got one actually. I'm not sure if I think we've actually got this kit already as a standalone. I think we bought this as it stands. That doesn't matter to me because, you know, factories repeat buildings all the time. Looking at the windows here, it's obviously old style sort of windows, not very much sort of the idea of red brick and whatnot. Again, if we were using this for Dredd, we could easily either block these out, we could cover these over with sort of a monochrome coloured piece of acetate or something like that there, or we could take out these smaller paint sections, or we could just leave this as a really old rundown factory building, or it would be ideal for the Undercity, something like that as well. This factory unit number 2, sloped roof. It's got these skylights. Again, my feeling is these skylights might be nice to be damaged or left open, framed, or put something else in there. Maybe even solar panels could go on there instead. And the last piece then is the factory power room. So it's obviously like a boiler house or whatever, where we're going to have the stack for venting that out. Again, if you could look at this in a number of different ways, because it wouldn't take an awful lot of work to put a platform up here, make this into a small watchtower or something like that there, or a gun emplacement. And again, it also wouldn't be too hard to bring this ladder round actually onto the tower section so that it looks like this is something here, and have the other section of ladder on the outside wall. So there's scope to play with these in a couple of different ways, and we'll maybe look at that when we're actually building them up. So we'll open this one up first to let you see the frames. Wow, razor blade that didn't razor. That one is possibly reaching the end of its life. They do get an awful lot of use around here. So on the back here we've got the little build instructions, double skin walls, inner floor, and the roof and trapdoor, and this sort of exhaust or air vent on the outside wall, and a little staircase there too. So not an overly complicated one, and I'm getting hit with that lovely waft of laser cut wood. It's just glorious. So let's see what we're looking at there. So there's our staircase frames, and obviously I think that's our base for our building, the floor. Then we've got our inner floor, part of the staircase supports, the stairs, the roof trapdoor, and markings there. This exhaust for the outside. Cardboard elements which are the windows and doors, the sandwichy part of it there. And again, the double doors for the workshop part of it too. And there we go. Now, as you can see, this is obviously what I was sort of talking about. This is designed to go in here, like so, when this is getting built. Okay, gives you a fairly old effect to the windows. This is obviously card, can be damaged fairly easily, so do be careful with that. But what we might actually do is leave that out completely and just run with the buildings like this with these big open windows and add some larger elements in later ourselves to work with that. And there's the front and the other side element as well. And you can see there's a little bit of the detail. If you don't want that damage, that's fairly easy to fill in and smooth over if it's not something that's pleasing to your eye. So rather than sort of stopping and building one at a time, we're just going to sort of go through here now, and we'll let you see all the kits, because that's kind of the unboxing then finished. And if you're happy enough with that, you can run away. You don't have to stay with us. I have to say, even though this is quite a simple little set of buildings, I'm really looking forward to getting to build them. I do love building terrain. Terrain, if there was a game of terrain, that would be the game I would want to play. I love building terrain. I love painting. I'm no expert at it by any stretch of the imagination, but I love setting up tables. I love building a story out of terrain as well. I love having lots of choices to use for it. I tend to put on more terrain than is really needed. But anyway. So this one here, nice, very simple, straightforward construction again. It's essentially a box, and then the rectangle for the tower goes on to the side there. The only thing we might do is obviously it's got these rings here for supporting the ladder. I think what we'll do is we'll turn two of those round and have those ladders going up the inside here. For the possibility that later on we might actually get creative and turn this into some sort of watchtower type of thing. Just a small front section cardboard element here for that. And then some fairly straightforward frames for this one. A couple of little spares, they always tend to come in useful, we'll not throw them away. And if whenever you're painting this sort of stuff up, it does tend to need a few good coats of primer to sort of soak in and seal it all up before you start really painting it up, I tend to find. Or if you use a textured paint, sometimes that works quite well, though if you do use a textured paint, remember, you'll lose the details like the cracks in the walls and the brickwork and things like that there. So that's a nice, easy one there too. I always say these things are easy and then usually end up screwing something up when I'm building them. And the last one then, this is the novelty one, the slanted roof. Haven't done anything of this type before. I've just torn right through the instructions there as well. So there we go. So exact same idea here. We've got it's a box with a sloped roof, and again these cardboard interior sections. The only thing we need to watch out for is that we do actually have a solid roof. Oops, popping bits out here already. There's our cardboard elements. And that's okay. We do have, yeah, we do have a, no, oh, here, we might need to check that. Let's just look at those instructions again, see what's happening here just before we kick. No, we're okay. This is the roof section here, so that's fair enough. The roof ones are solid, they're cut into it. And then we've got these frames that we can pop over. Don't think, no, they're not cut through, so the only option for removing those if we wanted to would be to actually to physically cut them out. I think we'll let them sit like that for now. So okay, that, boys and girls, is the unboxing part of it, okay? So if you want to run away now You can go online, go to Sarissa, whatever. You can get that sort of set and loads of others. And to be honest, there's no such thing as a bad kit from Sarissa, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. They are all really, really good and a pleasure to play with. But that's it. Going to take a quick break. Going to boil the kettle. You'll not notice because the screen will just go dark, and then when it comes back on, I'll be gone. But what we'll be doing is looking down on the table here as we crack on with the building of this. I'm not going to chat through the building process. You don't need to hear me talking about it. You'll see what's going on quite happily. We might speed up bits of it where it's maybe a little bit mundane. We'll try and throw some light music into the background there, something inoffensive and IP free. And as I say, maybe drop in at the end to just chat about the kits once again if we feel it's needed. Okay. So there we go, job done. Well, everything's as I want it to be, not necessarily as it should be. And of course, as you've seen from that video, I approach a building project like it's a dog's dinner and just tear into it carefree and just enjoy myself. That's what it's about. As value sets go, I humbly put to you that this is a great one because it's sitting at the minute on one of these Mantic skirmish mats. I think it's for their little sci-fi game, Dead Zone or whatever. So it's what, 2x2 or something like that there, and it fairly well occupies this 2x2 tile quite nicely. If you were to throw a bit of scatter terrain in here and obviously space these out a bit more, I think you'd be very happy. And if you were going to 3x3, I don't think you'd want an awful lot more for most of the skirmish level games. Bolt action, okay, you're going to go bigger. This is going to make a nice addition to a factory complex, and there are big factory kits out there, but if you're playing 7TV, or you're playing, if you're playing 7TV, or if you're playing the likes of the Judge Dredd game or something like that there, I think you're going to be very happy. Most of these could be doctored up in some way. You could do a fairly middle-of-the-road paint job that they're going to be, inoffensive to almost any setting. If you wanted to get fancy, you could always play with signage that based on little magnets, so you could swap them in and out, whether you want it to be a rundown futuristic thing or a state-of-the-art thing of a sort of World War II era or whatever. There's scope there to do an awful lot with this kit. A couple of things that I've done. Now, one thing I'll point out for those who are observant, you'll see that in the picture there's a little gantry runs between the factory building and the staircase. And if you look, obviously, you don't get the gantry. There's the staircase there, the raised door. I think that drawing is probably like a concept at the early start of when they were designing this project. And somebody's decided, well, there's not enough space for the sprues to put that in. And they just forgot that was there. So if that's a niggle for you, just making you aware of it, don't let it be a niggle. But if it is, tough on you. I think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck here. Of the stuff what you'll have seen in that video, obviously you've seen it erect this bit of fence, chopping it. I have to admit, I kind of done it a little bit on purpose because these kind of elements can be quite fragile. And I will firmly expect that over time, these kind of gantry bits and that will get broken. They aren't the strongest things in the world, and I could see myself replacing them with a more solid fence or a third-party fence down the wire. So I've obviously jury-rigged a replacement there, and that'll go with even just a few plays because it's thin, little tiny matchsticks of wood, really. Obviously, with doing the ladder swap, so I can use this tower for something else later on, I can no longer remove this roof. I'm happy with that because as I was building it, you probably noticed it was a fairly tight fit to get that roof on, and I figured that with, again, the belief that these can be quite fragile, any level of constantly, and it's just a hassle, constantly taking on and off that roof to put people in, take people out, are there people in there forgetting all that? Just glue it down. It's one of those things in the computer game that you just can't get in. No matter what you can do, it's locked. Tough. And when the windows eventually get wrecked or whatever, because again, that's just cardboard pieces at the front there, when they eventually get wrecked, I'll clean it up and you can set a miniature or two in through the window. Yay, that'll do you. Over here, at some point, I'm probably going to leave one of these doors open and I'll corrugate this up again for the likes of Judge Dredd or something. That suits my taste, might not suit yours. I have glued in that inner floor instead of like using the struts or whatever that you could have done. Though that floor could be removable as well for getting guys in. Again, it's just to believe, guys in the ground floor and then the floor and then guys in the top floor. Now I want to move the guys in the bottom. If you can't get at it, you don't do it. Tough. It's got a floor and it's got a roof that they can use, and I think that is quite ample for most purposes of gaming. This little piece I'm really smitten by because I think this could be done up as a shop in its own right, or a little unit or a little apartment or whatever else. I've put in a couple of extra bits at the side so that roof doesn't have to be glued in, and it'll pop in and it'll hold fairly securely there, but with a little bit of pressure I can pop it and get it out. That one, happy enough to be putting miniatures in and out of. It's got the big open windows at the far end too. So yeah, I gotta say, overall, I'm really happy with this kit. I know I can make a bit of a hames of the building of it, but that's just me having fun with it too. So yeah, we will get these sprayed up. We'll probably not bother doing it for tonight, but we'll do it up at some point. We'll throw a couple of pictures onto the Facebook page so you can check that out in due course. We'll try and tag the Sarissa and reshare the video build into it as well, so you can marry up the two ideas. If you have any thoughts yourself on how I could have done it differently, or other thoughts on what maybe to finish them off painting wise, I'm kind of open at the minute. I knew I wanted the set. I didn't really have a finished idea with what I wanted to do with the set. As I say, thinking about a shop for this, thinking about some sort of lookout post watchtower thing for this. This one here, at the minute, it's sort of sitting in the head as a workshop. So again, if you've got notions for what we could do with it, chuck it in the comments in the bottom and we'll take a look at it and see if we can apply any of those ideas to the project. Maybe you can make yourself a part of a Wee Gamers gaming table by coming up with a good name for a shop or some sort of business that we can put these to the use of. So there we go. A bit weary now, so I'm going to knock on the head and go and get a big mug of coffee. Take a breather. Thanks for watching, folks. As always, if you don't mind, give it a wee like, give it a comment, give it a subscribe if you can, and if it's not necessarily your cup of tea, hopefully you've tagged a mate or shared it to them because they might enjoy it, even if it's just to laugh at the ineptitude of our building skills. We don't care, we're in it for the giggles. Thanks for watching and look after yourselves. Catch you again. Bye bye.